Morning, everyone. So, in continuation with our series on current affairs for science and technology, this is our next lecture. And today we are focused upon the current affairs between September and November 2022. And we've already covered this particular document that I shared with you earlier up till page 40. And now we are starting from the next of that is page 41. So, first here is Alzheimer's disease. So, as far as Alzheimer's is concerned, researchers have discovered a drug named as lecanemab that reduces cognitive decline in patients of early Alzheimer's, making it one of the first neuroprotective treatments for the disease. See, one thing that we know about neurons is that they cannot be regenerated. Okay. Now, for that, the only one way that we had earlier is yoga. That's what was supposed to be the cure. Now we have a chemical cure for that, and for that there is a drug. Now the question may be very simple for you in UPSC. They may just ask what is lecanemab recently in news. So it's a neuroprotective treatment disease for the Alzheimer's disease. Okay. So just remember this much. As far as Alzheimer's are concerned, this is already something that we have covered in our basics. So if you need to go through that, you can. Next is Telecom Technology Development Fund Scheme. So under the Universal Service Obligation Fund launched by the Telecom Technology Development Fund Scheme. What is this USOF? So this is a body under the Department of Telecommunication to fund rural and remote digital connectivity. So since we are chasing the dream of digital India, and always there has been something which is, making news, that is digital divide in India. It's something which has already been criticized. And for that purpose, now we have something called Universal Service Obligation Fund. So it's like telecommunication services, the government has the obligation to provide it. And it is doing so through BSNL already. So there is something called as National Optical Fiber Network, Bharat Broadband, BBNL के अंदर जो चल रहा है. So that's already there. So right now, the center in the draft Telecom Bill 2022 has said that USOF created under the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885 shall be referred to as the Telecommunication Development Fund. So basically the name has been changed right now. अब इसको यूज कैसे करेंगे? So it aims to fund the R&D in the rural specific communication technology applications. So and form synergies among the academia, startups, research institutes, and the industry to build and develop the telecom ecosystem. This scheme aims to promote technology ownership and indigenous manufacturing, create a culture of technology co-innovation, reduce imports, boost exports, and other opportunities along with creation of IPR, intellectual property rights. तो आपने प्रीलिम्स के लिए एक तो ये याद रखना है एक कौन से एक्ट के अधीन क्रिएट किया गया, ऐसा आपको क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं कि telecommunication development fund or USOF has been created under which act. Okay, so these can be the very direct questions for you. As far as the present status of telecom industry in India is concerned, so this is something for means, not for prelims. That's where you need to remember it. Next is Lassa fever. So recently, a study found that climate change may aid the spread of Lassa fever, which is endemic to the parts of West Africa, central and eastern parts of the African continent in the next 50 years. In fact, all kinds of fevers, viruses, bacteria, their spread is going to increase with climate change in general. In general, okay, not in specific. So, for example, Lassa fever, if we take up, so 600% jump in number of people exposed to the virus that causes Lassa fever, and although 80% are mild or asymptomatic, yet 20% have hemorrhagic fever. So this is very severe. Okay. You see, temperature, rainfall, and presence of pastoral land area are the key factors that contribute to transmission of the Lassa virus. So these things, they definitely increase with climate change. तो ये प्रीलिम्स में इसको ना बहुत जनरलाइज्ड स्टेटमेंट बना के ही पूछेंगे आपसे, ठीक है? लासा फीवर होता क्या? It is caused by Lassa virus, animal of the arena virus family. So, a member of the arena virus family, spread by rats generally, mastomys rats. they are said to have potential to spread the virus. Okay. Then Nobel Prize in Literature. As far as awards and prizes go, एक तो इस साल के ऑस्कर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, RRR का जो नाटू नाटू सॉन्ग है उसके लिए मिला है. तो दूसरा नोबेल प्राइजेस तो हमेशा इंपॉर्टेंट रहते हैं प्रीलिम्स के लिए. So it was for French author Annie Ernaux for the courage and clinical acuity with which she covers the roots, estrangements, and collective restraints of personal memory. So this is what has been talked about for the French author Annie Ernaux. Okay. Some of our books you should remember. Cleaned Out 1974, A Woman's Story, क्योंकि मैथ्स द फॉलोइंग में कई बार बुक और ऑथर भी पूछते हैं. So Woman's Story, Happening, A Girl's Story, and Getting Lost. ये इसकी किताबों के नाम जो है वो प्रीलिम्स के लिए याद रखना है. And Nobel Prize in Physics 2022. So John F. Clauser, Alien Aspect, and Anton Zellinger for their work in quantum mechanics by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. What did they do in quantum mechanics? Let's see. So they worked upon basically quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement, and these things we have already covered in your basics. Okay, Bell inequality, etc., etc. ये सारी चीजों के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. So let's discuss them a little bit here also. So quantum mechanics. So mechanics is that branch of science which deals with the movement and interaction of various macroscopic objects. And if we are talking about microscopic objects, then we talk about quantum mechanics. For example, atoms, electrons, etc. So subatomic particles essentially. Quantum entanglement is the phenomena by which a pair of subatomic particles are allowed to exist in a shared state where they have complementary properties, such that measuring the properties of one particle allows you to automatically know the properties of the other particle also. Okay. The first person to talk about quantum entanglement was Erwin Schrödinger, and you might have known him from the Schrödinger wave equation if you studied non-medical in maybe your +1 or +2. Okay. Then Bell inequality. So John Stuart Bell developed a mathematical inequality that's called Bell inequality, which is that if there are hidden variables, the correlation between the results of a larger number of measurements will never exceed a certain value. Bell inequality. आमतौर पे इन चीजों के बारे में आपको डेफिनेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. किसने डिस्कवर किया या किसने क्रिएट किया उसके लिए क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. Okay. So what was the experiment in Bell inequality and how it reached for this year's Nobel Prize in Physics? Let's talk about it. The Nobel laureates have been awarded for their experiments with entangled photons, establishing with violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information science. So John F. Clauser developed John Bell's ideas, leading to particle experiment which supported quantum mechanics by clearly violating a Bell inequality, implying that quantum mechanics cannot be replaced by a theory that uses hidden variables. So sometimes this must be, sometimes this must be too much for you, and you may not even need it. The question in UPSC, they always keep it very simple, very general. So in this case, for example, Nobel Prize in Physics this year goes to quantum entanglement and quantum mechanics. Maybe Bell inequality. इतना तक तो पूछ सकते हैं, लेकिन आगे इसका प्रोसेस क्या है, कैसे होता है, यूपीएससी आपसे एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करेगा. डोंट बॉदर. ठीक है. एक्सपेरिमेंट में क्या किया, कैसे सिग्निफिकेंट था, आप फिजिसिस्ट नहीं हो ना यार, आपसे वो एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं किया जा सकता. हो सकता है आप में से कोई अगर है भी फिजिसिस्ट तो ये पेपर जनरल स्टडीज का है. ठीक है. अब 2008 में देखिए जैसे क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा उन्होंने, Who among the following scientists shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with his son? Okay. Then, sorry, Nobel Prize winning scientist James D. Watson is known for his work in which area? So genetics. Simple as that, they will ask. Okay. Then Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So this year's Nobel Prize goes to Carolyn R. Bertozzi, Morton Meldal, and K. Berry Sharpless. So why? For development of click chemistry and bioorthogonal chemistry. Now, the question may be, what is click chemistry? So Sharpless won the second time and came up with the term click chemistry and worked extensively on it. Okay, let's see. So click chemistry is a minimalistic form of chemistry in which molecular building blocks can quickly and efficiently snap together. And it's a form of simple and reliable chemistry where reactions occur quickly, unwanted byproducts are avoided. बस इतना याद रखना और कुछ नहीं. ठीक है. आगे ये एजाइड एल्कील एल्काइन साइक्लोडेशन कैसे होता है, not required for you. Okay. Then how did Bertozzi develop cancer fighting click chemistry? So spotting glycans. So while researching glycans, an elusive type of carbohydrate found on the surface of the cells that is crucial to the immune system, glycans. Caroline R. Bertozzi wanted to attach fluorescent molecules to glycans so they could be easily spotted. Okay, so she turned some azide used by Sharpless and Meldal. The azide not only avoids interacting with other parts of the cell, but it's also safe for to introduce in a living being. In 2004, he developed an alternate click chemistry reaction that worked without toxic copper, making it safe for living cells. So Bertozzi work is being used to identify glycans on surface of tumor cells and block their protective mechanisms that can incapacitate immune cells. So this method is currently under clinical trial, and we can create some cure for cancer using this. And they will be developing clickable antibodies that can help track tumors accurately and deliver doses of radiation to cancer cells. So that's where the usage will be. But for you, the question will be here, glycans. So what are glycans? Okay, then azide. So certain property of azide that they don't interact with any other part of the cell. They just attach themselves to the glycan as a marker, fluorescent marker, and it's safe for the living beings. And this particular property of the azides can be further developed in treating cancer. Okay. So just know what are glycans, carbohydrates found on the surface of the cell that are crucial to the immune system. One. Second, what is azide? Okay, what kind of azides are used here? Fine. Nobel Prize in Medicine or Physiology. So यहाँ पे पहले question देखिए. The word Denisovan, sometimes mentioned in media, refers to early human species. तो लास्ट ईयर का जो मेडिसिन और फिजियोलॉजी का था वो इस कैटेगरी में दिया गया था, तो इस तरह से क्वेश्चन आया. So let's see. In 2022, Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine has been awarded to Swedish geneticist Svante Paabo for his research in the field of genomes of extinct hominin and human evolution. बस इतना चाहिए, ज़्यादा टेंशन नहीं लेना. Okay. Then India made syrups and deaths in Gambia. This we already covered in the previous one also, but definitely WHO did take up a notice of this, and it had higher amounts of diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol as contaminants, और ये ग्लिसरीन के अंदर मिलते हैं contaminants, तो उसकी वजह से मेजर इश्यूज हुए. अभी इंडिया में इन चीजों को कंट्रोल करने के लिए एक्ट्स क्या है? So there is a Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and rules 1945. Okay. Then there is Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, which prescribes the standards and measures for ensuring the safety, efficacy, and quality of drugs, cosmetics, diagnosis, any kind of diagnostics and devices in the country, basically health related devices in the country. It also regulates the market authorization for new drugs and clinical trial standards. It supervises the drug imports and approves their licenses also. Now, CDSO regulates the exports of drugs in India, from India, in fact, and any manufacturer with the certification from CDSCO can export drugs outside India. तो इनकी एक तरह से responsibility बन जाती है. Who is the or which one of the following is the organization responsible for controlling this drug export from India? So that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Very important is prelims में भी question बन सकता है. Then Director Controller General of India, so DCGI. He is the head of the Department of CDSCO of Government of India, responsible for the approval of licenses of specified categories of drugs such as blood and blood products, IV fluids, vaccines, sera in India, and any kind of standards are there. So he is the person to set the standards. To set the standards for manufacturing, sale, import, and distribution of drugs in India. DCGI. Okay. Drugs Controller General of India. So lower level पे तो जैसे ड्रग इंस्पेक्टर है, फिर जोनल लेवल अथॉरिटीज है, ZLA बोल देते हैं हम, ठीक है, फिर जोनल लाइसेंसिंग अथॉरिटी, फिर उसके ऊपर फिर अलग अलग हेल्थ के डिपार्टमेंट्स के अंदर अपने अपने IS लेवल के ऑफिसर हैं. ये सेंट्रल लेवल पे ऑफिसर है. तो द मेजर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज सेंट्रल ड्रग स्टैंडर्ड कंट्रोल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, CDSCO. So this much should be known for this year's prelims because यूपीएससी में ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एंगल ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कई बार. ये शायद आपसे अगर टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन पूछना हुआ तो पूछेंगे डाइथिलीन ग्लाइकोल और एथिलीन ग्लाइकोल के ऊपर. फिर ये याद रखना प्री में कि ग्लिसरीन के कंटामिनेंट्स होते हैं, ठीक से अगर उसको प्योरीफाई ना किया जाए ड्रग्स में यूज करने से पहले तो ये ट्रबल्स आते हैं. और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंगल से CDSCO एंड DCGI. Then Double Asteroid Redirection Test Mission, DART mission of NASA. ये भी बहुत न्यूज में रहा. So essentially it is to deviate the asteroid from its particular path. That's what it was for. So that's DART mission. It will crash into the asteroid's moon, and that's what it did. It just tried to deviate it from its path. Okay. So it is the first kinetic impactor method for planetary defense, where DART spacecraft will collide in the asteroid Dimorphos. So एक तो ये एस्ट्रॉइड याद रखना है, Dimorphos, एक काइनेटिक इम्पैक्टर मेथड एंड डार्ट मिशन फॉर नासा. बस करना क्या चाहते थे, कम टू दिस. The mission is to test the new technology to be prepared in case of an asteroid heads towards the Earth in future. Aim is to test newly developed technology that allow a spacecraft to crash into the asteroid and change its. बस इतने ही काम है, ठीक है. Dimorphos orbits a larger asteroid named as Didymos. So Greek for 12. तो बस ये इतना, अगर एस्ट्रॉइड का नाम लेके कुछ क्वेश्चन आया कि Dimorphos has been in news or something like that, you can handle it. Okay. Then, for example, पहले क्वेश्चन आया what is Greece Lightning 10 recently in news. So this was basically an electric plane tested by NASA. तो ऐसे ही ये भी आ सकता है DART mission. Rohini sounding rocket. So ISRO is planning 200 successful launch of the RS-200 Rohini sounding rocket. So what is this sounding rocket all about? Let's see. It is a 1 or 2 stage solid propellant rocket used for probing the upper atmospheric regions for space research. So that is sounding rocket. So sounding rocket takes the name from the nautical term to sound, which means to take measurement. So they are also several easily affordable platforms to test or prove a prototype of new components or subsystem intended to use in a launch vehicle or satellite. तो basically sounding rocket से पहले atmosphere में भेज के देख लेते हैं कि ये real time conditions में ठीक से काम करेगा या नहीं, and accordingly it can be sent. Okay, that is the Rohini sounding rocket. अभी कितने सारे sounding rocket है हमारे पास? See, RS200, RS300 Mark II, 560 Mark III, various are there. So purpose is either metrology or aeronomy. Okay. Then Indian nutrition rating. So the FSSAI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, this country's apex food regulator, has released a draft notification for the front of package labeling, also called as the Indian nutrition rating. एक तो बैक ऑफ द पैकेज रेटिंग तो है ही, जिसमें आपको पता है कितना कार्बोहाइड्रेट है, प्रोटीन है, सोडियम है, ट्रांस फैट्स है, वो लिखा होता है पूरा एक। ये फ्रंट ऑफ द पैकेज लेबलिंग है, जिसमें कुछ क्लियर सा आपको एक छोटे आसान तरीके से पता चल जाए, लाइक 1 स्टार 2 स्टार समथिंग लाइक दिस। ओके, सो इट मैंडेट्स प्री पैकेज्ड फूड टू कैरी अ स्टार रेटिंग, जैसे कि एनर्जी रेटिंग होती है, टू डिस्करेज कंजम्पशन ऑफ फूड्स विद हाई इन शुगर, सॉल्ट एंड फैट्स। इनके लिए स्टार रेटिंग वाले फूड्स अब आए। अभी क्या है इसके अंदर देखिए। सो देर इज अ डेली इनटेक गाइड, देर इज द न्यूट्रिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन पैनल, देर इज अ ट्रैफिक लेबलिंग लाइट। अलग अलग तरीके से कर सकते हैं। So for example, if it is red, don't eat it. If it is green, eat it, like this. Okay. There is warning label that directly says too much fat, too much sugar, too much salt. And there is a star rating. So 1 to 5. So if it is 5 healthy, 1 least healthy. What is the process of rating? So items would be given scores based upon contribution of energy and content of saturated fat, sugar, sodium, fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes, and millets. Dietary fiber, protein per 100 gram of solid or 100 ml of liquid foods. So solid foods with a score of more than 25 will be given 0.5 star, and those with a score of minus 11 shall get 5 star. तो माइनस कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये नेगेटिव में जाएगा तो फिर ठीक है, फिर आपके लिए हेल्दी है। स्कोर दे रहे हैं वो बैड कंटेंट्स के हिसाब से, ठीक है। ओके, so logo shall be displayed close in proximity to the name or the brand name of the product on the front. Implementation, so the food businesses may add interpretive information next to the star rating logo। इसका मतलब क्या है, जहाँ पे वो डिटेल्स दे सकते हैं कि अगर हाफ स्टार या 1 स्टार मिला है तो भाई खाओ या ना खाओ, उसका मतलब क्या है, what is the significance, and there are some exempted products also. So food such as milk and milk products, whey, butter, ghee, vegetable oil, fat, fresh frozen fruits, vegetables, fresh or frozen meat, egg, fish, flour, sweeteners will not have to display any kind of star rating. उनके लिए exception है, तो ये prelims में पता होना चाहिए। Carbonated beverages without energy or sugar will also not be eligible towards declaring their rating। Coca-Cola zero को exemption मिल गई। Okay. So according to a study, there was a change in consumption pattern. Several Latin American countries that implemented such warning labels, and that Chile reported a drop of 24% in sugary drink consumption. In fact, Egyptians, when they took out their mummies from their graves, they had well preserved dentine structure. The reason was there was no sugar in their diet, almost no sugar in their diet. Yeah, and they lived on to be 100 years and so on, long lifetimes, also because no sugar in their diet. Now we are so so much of a sweet tooth, all of us, except for those who are diabetic or except for those who are very health conscious. That this sugar is a major issue for most of the Indian population. Okay. India at the Global Clean Energy Action Forum. So first off, जब भी कुछ ऐसा होता है कहाँ हुआ, तो ये चाहिए पिट्सबर्ग, पेंसिल्वेनिया in USA, and India's representative has said that sustainable biofuels play a key role to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the transport sector. So we are still stuck to biofuels. Okay. तो एक तो इसका बस आपको लोकेशन याद रखना है, पिट्सबर्ग, इंडिया में नहीं हुआ, ऐसे करके पूछ सकते हैं। दूसरा, इसका थीम क्या है? सो रैपिड इनोवेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट. ओके. एंड व्हाट इज इंडिया स्टैंड? So at the international collaboration to accelerate clean energy, we have reported establishing 5 bioenergy centers. In April 22, we hosted a Atal Mission Innovation annual gathering in New Delhi. The mission integrated biorefineries was launched by Co-Leads India and Netherlands, uniting key members to accelerate innovation of renewable fuels, chemicals, materials for a low carbon future. तो ये दोनों याद रखें. अप्रैल 2022 के वहां पे वो कंट्री पूछ सकते हैं किसके साथ पार्टनर किया था इन मिशन इंटीग्रेटेड बायोरिफाइनरीज. सो दैट्स नेदरलैंड्स. इस तरह से क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. देन एट इंडिया क्लीन एनर्जी शोकेस. सो इंडिया बीइंग वन ऑफ द फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स ऑफ क्लीन एनर्जी मिनिस्ट्रियल, अब ये अपने आप में क्वेश्चन है, will be hosting CEM 14 in 2023 in Bengaluru along with its presidency of G20 in same year. ये भी अपने आप में प्रीलिम्स का क्वेश्चन है. ठीक है. Then India among the few countries is in the world to design cooling action plan with a long-term vision 2018 to 2038 that will address the cooling requirements across the sector. Then India has committed to the ambitious NDCs in which we are trying to reduce 30 to 35% carbon emission intensity in 2030 against 2005 levels. The renewable energy expansion program is going on, in which we are having a 5-fold increase in overall renewable energy capacity from 32 gigawatt in 2014 to 175 by 2022. It's already achieved, and further 500 gigawatt by 2030. So that's our target there. Okay, so what is this Clean Energy Ministerial and Mission Innovation Ministerial? So Clean Energy Ministerial, this was established in December 2019, not 9, so 2009. So this was under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change at Copenhagen. Okay. इतना याद रखना है. फिर करेगा क्या? Improve energy efficiency, enhance clean energy supply, expand clean energy access. So these are the 3 areas on which it is wanting to work. Then Mission Innovation Ministerial. So this is a global initiative catalyzing a decade of action and investment in R&D, demonstration of to make clean energy affordable, attractive, and accessible for all. This is also as per Paris Agreement and Net Zero pathways. Under this, what are we trying to do? Zero emission shipping, green power future, clean hydrogen, removal of carbon dioxide, urban transition, net zero industries, integrated bio refineries. So ये अपने आप में क्वेश्चन बन सकता है, which of the following are part and parcel of mission innovation? So under that they may put them in whatever order 1 2 3 4 5 करके, फिर इसका आगे क्वेश्चन बन जाएगा चॉइसेस के बेसिस पे. ठीक है, क्योंकि आमतौर पे बहुत कम लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा मिशन इनोवेशन मिनिस्टेरियल. अप्रैल 2022 से इसके ऊपर वर्कआउट होकर आता है, तो इतना पीछे कम जाता है. देन eSIM technology. So Apple has come out with physical SIM without physical SIM slot into, that is eSIM, in their mobile networks. So in iPhone 14 and so on, that's what is the thing now. They were first established in 2012. जब से स्मार्टवॉच के अंदर eSIM डलना शुरू हुआ है. So it is an embedded SIM. It's a good technology, in fact. Just like a traditional SIM card, an eSIM also consists of some components which are a part of phone's internal organs, and they also function in the same way, acting as a unique identifier for the telecom operators and other consumers to reach your exact smartphone when they make a call or send a text. So basically you don't have a physical card, but you have an integrated or embedded SIM card. एडवांटेजेस क्या है? सिक्योरिटी बेटर है, कोई भी आपका सिम निकाल के अपना सिम डाल के आपका फोन नहीं चलाएगा. ठीक है. देन वन लेस ओपनिंग ऑन योर फोन. अभी एक सिम कार्ड इजेक्टर ही रह गया था, अब वो भी बंद कर देंगे. ठीक है, तो दैट इज द बेनिफिट. ओके, सो बेसिकली ये चेंज अगर करना हो तो आपको अपने सर्विस प्रोवाइडर के पास जाके चेंज कराना पड़ेगा, आप ये खुद चेंज नहीं कर सकते. डिसएडवांटेजेस यही है कि अगर बैटरी रन आउट हो गई तो सिम डाल के किसी और के फोन में कॉल नहीं कर सकते. अनयूजेबल इन कंट्रीज विद नो eSIM सपोर्ट. तो eSIM सपोर्ट टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर के पास से होना चाहिए, और बहुत सारे टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर्स हैं जिनके पास ये सपोर्ट नहीं है. ओके, telecoms have more control. So now, since you always have to depend upon the operator to change your SIM or anything, so they will have more control, and they can have different eSIM plans for maybe switching phones or extra. They can be charging you extra. Then Ebola virus. It always seems to make news time and again, but yet seems to be ignored since it was first discovered in 1976 near the Ebola River. That's after which it is named, and that's in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. The Ebola causes hemorrhagic fever, which is deadly, but it seems to be limited in DRC and nearby regions of Africa, and therefore till date not much effort has been done, on trying to create a good vaccine for it or trying to create good medicines for it. So now there is a relatively rare Sudan strain which has come up in Ebola virus. हो सकता है आपसे इतने ही क्वेश्चन पूछे कि Sudan strain is related to which of the following, तो Ebola virus disease. इतना सिंपल क्वेश्चन इसमें आ सकता है, और सुदान स्ट्रेन ही हम इग्नोर करते हैं इस केस में. ठीक है. Okay, now here, host is the fruit bats of Pteropodidae family. So just remember fruit bats. Okay, fine. Transmission is animal to human transmission occurs. Human to human transmission also occurs. Okay. Signs and symptoms क्या है? Fever, fatigue, muscle pain, body weakness, headache, sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea. Everything happens. Impaired kidney, liver function, internal and external bleeding. That is hemorrhagic fever. Okay. So what do? Diagnosis is done through ELISA or ELISA. That is antibody capture enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. So ये prelims में याद रखना, ELISA test. And then there is RT-PCR. That is reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. ये दो टेस्ट करने के तरीके हैं. तो आप कोई भी वायरस टेस्ट कर सकते हैं. कोविड-19 के लिए भी डेवलप किया गया था ये, और इसके लिए भी डेवलप है. ठीक है. तो आमतौर पे इबोला को कंफ्यूज कर लिया जाता है विद मलेरिया और टाइफाइड, क्योंकि सिम्टम्स वैसे से ही हैं इसके. तो कंफर्मेटरी टेस्ट इस तरह से करने पड़ते हैं. वैक्सीन क्या है? सो देयर इज वन अर्वीबो वैक्सीन which has been highly effective in containing the disease. Okay. However, the vaccine has only been approved to protect against the Zaire strain of the virus. The Sudan strain, we don't have any kind of vaccine. This is the problem with vaccines. In COVID-19 also, it is for one particular strain or two particular strains of virus, of COVID-19 that they are developed for. Whenever the virus mutates, which is the natural behavior of the virus, because it does not make an exact copy of itself every time it grows or multiplies. So there is going to be inbuilt trouble into that, and it will be very difficult to understand or deal with it next time. COVID-19 के केस की जैसे ही. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Ayurveda in India. So Ayurveda, India's traditional medicine, has been practiced for close to 3,000 years, serving the healthcare needs of millions of Indians. And what is this Ayurveda? Ayu means life, Veda means science or knowledge. So it is basically science of life. Okay. So there are three main branches of Ayurveda. There is Nara, Sattva, and Vriksha. Nara is dealing with human life. Then Sattva is animal life and its disease, and Vriksha is plant life. So very simple. Nar, Sattva, and Vriksha. It's not only a system of medicine but also a way of life. And एक तो prelims के लिए याद रख लेना 3 तरह का कौन सा होता है. फिर आयुर्वेदा की compilation कहाँ से शुरू हुई. So the Indian Medical Council was set up in 1971, established a suitable qualification in Indian medicine, and recognizes various forms of traditional practices like Ayurveda, Unani, and Siddha. So Ayurveda has both preventive and curative treatments. The preventive component emphasizes on the needs for strict code of personal and social hygiene, and the curative component is basically on herbal medicine, external preparation, physiotherapy, and diet. So अभी बाकी का इसका जो पोर्शन है, सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, ये मेंस के लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाट आर द की चैलेंजेस फॉर आयुर्वेदा इन द मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड मेंस. ओके, आयुर्वेद को प्रमोट करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट क्या क्या कर रही है, ये स्कीम्स का नाम आपको पता होना चाहिए. तो देयर इज आयुष मिशन, आधार क्रांति, आहार क्रांति, सॉरी, न्यू पोर्टल फॉर आयुष सेक्टर, ACCR पोर्टल और आयुष संजीवनी ऐप. बस. ओके, नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेस. So recently WHO gave a report. सो पे WHO ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और रिपोर्ट का नाम ये चाहिए. Invisible numbers, the true extent of non-communicable diseases and what to do about them. तो ये रिपोर्ट किसने रिलीज किया, इतना क्वेश्चन आपको ध्यान में रखना है बस, और कुछ नहीं. ठीक है, बाकी ये मीन्स का मामला है, नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज का क्या हाल चाल है. ठीक है, डोंट बॉदर टू मच इन प्रीलिम्स. देन HFC और हाइड्रोजन फ्यूल सेल. So recently, Germany launched the world's first fleet of fully hydrogen-powered trains, and these are emission-free trains, and they reach the speed of 140 kilometers, can run for about 1,000 kilometers before the tanks run dry. So, which country has launched the first hydrogen-powered trains? Germany. ऐसे एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. ठीक है, बाकी हाइड्रोजन फ्यूल सेल टेक्नोलॉजी वही है जो आपने पहले पढ़ा. थोड़ा सा कभी यार ये प्रीलिम्स में मैच द फॉलोइंग टाइप क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, ब्राउन, ग्रे, ब्लू, ये सब क्या होता है. So green hydrogen is one which is produced by the electrolysis of water, which also uses again renewable energy like solar or wind. Okay. And blue hydrogen is produced by using coal, where emissions are released into the air. Gray hydrogen is produced from natural gas, and blue hydrogen is from produced from natural gas, where the emissions are captured using carbon capture and storage. So brown coal, ग्रे और ब्लू दोनों नेचुरल गैस. ठीक है, ग्रे के अंदर emissions are released into the air, ब्लू के अंदर emissions are captured, एंड ग्रीन electrolysis of water, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी यूज करके. तो ये प्रीलिम्स में एक मैच द फॉलोइंग टाइप क्वेश्चन बन सकता है इसमें से. ठीक है, इंडियन सिनेरियो क्या है. अभी हमारे बजट के अंदर हमने हाइड्रोजन एज अ सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी यूज करने के लिए एक नेशनल हाइड्रोजन एनर्जी मिशन 2021-22 के बजट के अंदर लॉन्च किया था. अब उसके तहत अभी काम चल रहा है. We are still trying to create a lot of hydrogen first, and then we can talk about hydrogen fuel cell vehicles also. Okay, so what do hydrogen fuel cell vehicles produced in their exhaust? 2010 का prelim का question है. So water, that was the answer. So CRISPR-Cas9 for sickle cell anemia. As we know, CRISPR-Cas9, this is basically molecular scissors, so they can cut, copy, paste. Okay? So India approved a 5-year project to develop the CRISPR to cure sickle cell anemia in 2021. So this is the first disease to be targeted for CRISPR-based therapy in India, and the preclinical trials are already on now. Okay. What is CRISPR's technology? ये आप कल भी पढ़ चुके previous class के अंदर. They are genetic scissors और molecular scissors. Cas9 इसके अंदर प्रोटीन है जो काटने के लिए काम आएगा, और एक गाइडेड RNA होता है जो उसको उस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस पे लेके जाता है जहाँ पे कट करना होता है. Okay. So this can develop a patient-specific treatment. That's the most significant aspect of it. Okay. And what is sickle cell anemia? So your cells which are supposed to be disc-shaped, RBCs, they become sickle-shaped or S-shaped, and because of that, that will block the blood flow and oxygen flow, and therefore there will be trouble. Symptoms क्या होंगे आमतौर पे? There will be damage to organs like liver, kidney, everything, internal organs, and death from complications of the disorders. So generally there is a blood transfusion and bone marrow transplant, and these are the two basic things that you can do for sickle cell anemia. But if we can cure it, so CRISPR-Cas9 can be the way forward. So that's that. National list of essential medicine. ये प्रीलिम्स में आ सकते हैं 2-3 चीजें कि एक तो इसमें है क्या क्या, कितनी मेडिसिन है. दूसरा इसको कंट्रोल कौन करता है और इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है. तो देखिए, यूनियन हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री, फिल्म्स में याद रखना है, लॉन्च द न्यू नेशनल लिस्ट ऑफ एसेंशियल मेडिसिन, तो पहले भी था, अभी नया किया है, where 384 drugs have been included in this list with the addition of 34 drugs, while 26 from the previous list have been dropped. अब ये तो बात क्लियर होगी कि 384 ड्रग्स तो हमने याद नहीं रखी, ठीक हो गया। As per WHO, essential medicines are those who satisfy the priority healthcare needs of the population. Essential medicine किसको बोला जाता है, वो ये डेफिनेशन याद रखना है। अभी ड्रग के अंदर क्या है? So it has 4 major anti-cancer drugs, that is bendamustine hydrochloride for leukemia, ironitoin hydrochloride trihydrate, so that's for pancreatic cancer, lenalidomide, so multiple myeloma, then luprolide acetate, so this for prostate and uterine cancer. अभी ये जो मेडिसिन के नाम मैंने क्यों इतनी मशक्कत से पढ़े, उसका कारण है कि आपको ये आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए बोले जा सकते हैं कि विच ऐसे नाम लिख देंगे इनके कि दे आर रिलेटेड टू विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग, सो दे आर ऑल एंटी कैंसर ड्रग्स। साथ में शायद कुछ और लिखने की कोशिश करें फिर ऑप्शन बनाने के लिए, तो इसलिए याद रखना। देन इंसुलिन ग्लैर्गिन एंड एंटी डायबिटिक ड्रग टेनेलिग्लिप्टिन, ओके, तो ये वाली ज्यादा ध्यान रखना, एंटी कैंसर ड्रग्स बाकी चल जाएगा। प्रिवेंटिव ड्रग्स सच एज dolutegravir, so that is anti-HIV, declatasvir, hepatitis C, and bedaquiline and delamanid, anti-TB. So these are preventive drugs, prevented drugs. So patented drugs, tongue twisters. Common gastrointestinal drug ranitidine is removed. Disinfectants like bleaching powders also taken off the list. Okay. So this is the image that was generally circulating in the newspapers like Hindu, Indian Express. So now इसमें से बस ये एंटी कैंसर ड्रग्स मेरे ख्याल से आपको याद रखनी चाहिए। ज्यादा डॉक्टर तो हम नहीं बन सकते, फार्मासिस्ट नहीं बन सकते, कोशिश यही करनी है बस इतनी सी। फिर यूपीएससी का जो जनरल क्वेश्चन इसमें बनता है वो इतना ही बनता है कि भाई ये नेशनल लिस्ट फॉर एसेंशियल मेडिसिन कौन जनरेट करता है? तो ड्रग कंट्रोल जनरल ऑफ इंडिया करता है, यूनियन हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री करती है, होम मिनिस्ट्री करती है, कौन करता है? एक ही क्वेश्चन बन सकता है, ठीक है। सो दिस लिस्ट इज रिलीज्ड बाय द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर, ओके, एंड the medicine listed in NLEM are sold below a price ceiling fixed by the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. तो प्राइस सीलिंग कौन फिक्स करता है ये भी पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है। तो इसका एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज एक्ट से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, ये भी ध्यान रख लेना, ओके। तो क्राइटेरिया क्या होता है? इसके बेसिस पे किसी भी ड्रग को यहाँ पे ऐड किया जा सकता है, ये भी चाहिए। सो देयर इज एसेंशियलिटी, changing disease burden, efficacy and safety, cost effectiveness, fixed dose combinations, and turnover. So these are the criteria on which they are put into NLEM. Then inflatable aerodynamic decelerator. So basically it's like an air brake. So if you put it at the back of a rocket or anything and it becomes inflated like this, before touchdown, this will create enough air friction for it to stop. Okay. So ISRO has successfully developed and tested inflatable aerodynamic decelerator technology that could aid cost-effective recovery of spent rocket stages and safely land the payloads on other planets. तो ऐसे पैराशूट सा नहीं लगा देते जैसे पीछे, वैसे ही, ठीक है, टेंशन नहीं लेनी ज्यादा। डार्क स्काई रिजर्व इन लद्दाख, ये भी क्वेश्चन बनता है इस बार। So it is the first of its kind initiative under Department of Science and Technology, and it has India's first dark sky reserve in Hanle, Ladakh. तो सीधा पोजीशन से पूछेंगे कि भाई इंडिया का पहला डार्क स्काई रिजर्व किधर बना है? दैट इज इन हैनले, लद्दाख। डार्क स्काई रिजर्व का मतलब क्या होता है? So there should be minimal artificial light interference. So that is the place where it can get this designation. कौन देता है designation? So that is by International Dark Sky Association in US. That designates the places as international dark sky places, parks, sanctuaries, or reserves, depending upon the criteria that they meet. So you see, US-based NGO type, okay, non-profit organization. Why Ladakh has been chosen? So it's a cold desert with sparse population, clear skies, and other telescopes situated in Hanley Observatory are already there. So it's a good place to do that. All factors check out. Cyber Surakshit Bharat. So recently, the National E-Governance Division, NEGD, organized the 30th Chief Information Security Officers Deep Dive Training Program at the Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi. So अब इसमें से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन क्या बनेगा भाई साइबर सुरक्षित भारत क्या होता है so this was conceptualized with the mission to spread awareness about cyber crime and build capacities of the chief information officers, security officers, and the frontline IT officials across all government departments. So launched in 2018 by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. बस इतनी टेंशन लेनी है. Then West. So a new iSTEM initiative. Let's see. So a new Indian Science Technology Engineering Facilities map, that is iSTEM, called for women in engineering, science, and technology was launched. So basically, we are wanting women to take up more engineering, science, and technology, maths, and all these kind of aspects, not just arts and commerce. So it is for this initiative. Okay. So it will cater to women with a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics background and empower them to contribute to science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. Okay. So बस इतना iSTEM initiative के बारे में याद रखना है. iSTEM है क्या? It's a national web portal for sharing R&D facilities. So it will facilitate access slots to use of equipment as well as share the details of the outcomes such as patents, publications, and technologies. Launched in 2020 by the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India under Prime Minister's Science, Technology, and Innovation Advisory Council Mission, PMSTAC mission. And that's it. Okay. Next, new branches of National Center for Disease Control. So National Center for Disease Control became something of a common word during COVID-19. Okay. So formally, this was called as the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, and it had its origin at Central Malaria Bureau at Kasauli, Himachal Pradesh in 1909 in the beginning. Now it is transformed into the National Center for Disease Control since 2009, and it is under the administrative control of the Director General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. So that is NCDC for you. क्या करता है? It is the nodal agency in the country for disease surveillance. जैसे अभी नया H3N2 आया, कुछ भी आया, तो इनसे पूछेंगे भाई क्या चल रहा है लेटेस्ट. तो सही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ये है सवाल करने वाली. ठीक है. अभी इसके हेडक्वार्टर्स दिल्ली में. Then US startup Setu. What is this? So Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This has launched the US startup Setu that is supporting entrepreneurs in transformation and upskilling program. Setu in Bay Area of San Francisco in USA. US के entrepreneurs को हम support कर. ठीक है. So this is an Indian government initiative by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. क्या करेगा? Would connect with startups in India to US-based investors and startups, ecosystem leaders with mentorship and assistance in various areas, including funding, market access, and commercialization. So, बस इतना ही सही. It is estimated that about 90% of the startups and more than half the well-funded startups fail in their early days. कारण क्या होता है? हैंडल करनी नहीं आती चीजें इस वजह से. ठीक है. मॉरल सपोर्ट चाहिए होता है. नेक्स्ट नेसल वैक्सीन, कोविड-19 के लिए नेसल वैक्सीन हमने पहले भी पढ़ लिया, भारत बायोटेक ने बनाया है, द नेम इज इनोवैक एंड Covindicia air. So that's another one that has been developed. This is by Cancino Biologics. So two particular nasal vaccines are now available for COVID-19, and they're supposed to have a good advantage because they act directly on the virus in India and quantum computing. So according to a study IBM has conducted, India is witnessing a growing interest in quantum computing through UAV, and consequently the country is emerging as a talent hub for quantum computing. Also, students, academic, and developers, they are all working towards it. So what IBM India's initiative about quantum computing are there? So there is something called as Qiskit challenge. So Qiskit is an open source software development kit built by IBM for the quantum developer community. तो ये नाम ना किसकिट, इतना याद रखना बस, किसकिट जहां पे भी आए तो इट इज फॉर क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग एंड इट इज डेवलप्ड बाय IBM. बस किसकिट इंडिया वीक क्वांटम किसकिट टेक्स्ट बुक लाइक दिस. सो एवरीथिंग किसकिट इज IBM and quantum computing for India. Okay. An IBM Quantum Educators Program. So here it is collaborating with leading educational institution in India through IBM Quantum Educators Program. अभी क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग नए तरीके का कंप्यूटिंग है, बन रहा है अभी, ठीक है. तो बेसिक कंप्यूटिंग से बहुत ज्यादा फास्ट और एनर्जी कंजप्शन लेवल्स बहुत ज्यादा कम. तो ये नया लेवल है, लेकिन अभी इसको फैब्रिकेशंस में बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कत आ रही है. इट्स नॉट समथिंग एज सिंपल एज वी नो of quantum of for the computers today. And let me show you a picture of a quantum computer, how it looks like. So something like this. This is what it looks like. Very difficult to fabricate, very difficult to program. So अभी starting stage में धीरे धीरे सीखेंगे. Okay, nothing like the one PC or phone that you are handling right now. Fine. So these are all the various initiatives now which the government of India has taken up for quantum computing. So there's a national mission on quantum technologies and application in 21. Quantum computing laboratory. So this is at Mahou in MP, and it is backed by the National Security Council Secretariat. Also, there is Quantum Communication Lab. This is developed by CDOT. Okay. Then there are collaborations between Defense Institute of Advanced Technology and Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC. So both of them are creating a quantum computer. Then iHub Quantum Technology Foundation. So this is by Department of Science and Technology. Then startups like Kunu Labs, Bangalore, Boston Q, Bhille. So they have all started working for quantum computing in India. So new field, it must be tried upon. अभी सारी बिगनर्स हैं इसके अंदर, तो जितनी जल्दी जल्दी कैचअप कर लेंगे अच्छा है. नेक्स्ट, नेशनल फॉरेंसिक साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ, ये है कहाँ, ठीक है. तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने 2020 में एक ऑब्जेक्टिव कि हमारे पास सफिशिएंट फॉरेंसिक साइंटिस्ट होने चाहिए, इसके लिए एक नेशनल फॉरेंसिक साइंसेस यूनिवर्सिटी की बात की. सो with the status of an institution of national importance, is the world's first and only university dedicated to forensic, behavioral, cybersecurity, digital forensic, and allied sciences. Apart from Gujarat, ये गुजरात में established है. Campuses have been opened in Bhopal, Goa, Tripura, Manipur, and Guwahati. So that is National Forensic Science University. Okay. So moving on, forensic science basic होते क्या है, क्या चल रहा है अभी, कौन कौन से एक्ट्स के थ्रू फॉरेंसिक साइंस रेगुलेट होती है. तो पहले तो हिमाचल प्रदेश पुलिस एक्ट एक बेसिक सा होता था 2007 के लिए, स्टेट स्पेसिफिक. नेशनल लेवल पे हमारे पास अभी ये एक्ट, नेशनल फॉरेंसिक साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी एक्ट एंड राष्ट्रीय रक्षा यूनिवर्सिटी एक्ट 2020, इसके अधीन ये एस्टैब्लिश किया गया. OTT प्लेटफॉर्म, दैट इज ओवर द टॉप. तो ये अपने आप में एक मार्केट बनती जा रही है. Amazon के साथ अगर सपोज देखा जाए तो Amazon प्राइम लेके आप Amazon मूवीज और Amazon म्यूजिक, ये सारे ओवर द टॉप सर्विसेज है. Okay, and this is set to become about 12,000 crore rupees market as per SBI research in 2023. So this needs to be something that creates a good revenue. What are the growth drivers? Affordable high-speed mobile internet, doubling internet users, increased adoption of digital payments and discounted prices offered by global players, and COVID-led lockdowns. कुछ नहीं कर सकते, सिनेमास बंद है तो एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए ही ले लो। जितने का आप एक बार में मूवी देख के होगे उतने में साल भर की आपकी मेंबरशिप आ जाती है। Implications क्या है? Sudden death of other industry, that is OTT platforms, and ये basics हैं इसमें। अब rules हैं कुछ देखिए। So in February 2022, the government had notified information technology guidelines and digital media ethics code rules for 2021 to regulate OTT platform. बस सिंपल सा यही पूछेंगे कि क्या कोई रूल्स हैं या नहीं? हाँ है। ओके, सो अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? रजिस्ट्री ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग। सो दिस एक बॉडी है जिसके अंदर ये सब रजिस्टर करेंगे ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म्स कैसे चलेगा। And Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, an interdepartmental committee constituted by the ministry, constituted a three-tier oversight mechanism for this OTT platforms. So they'll provide self-certification of the content without any involvement of the Central Board of Film Certification. पीवीआर में जो मूवी लगती है तो सीबीएफसी अप्रूवल देता है कि क्या रेटिंग रहेगा व्यूअरशिप का। यहाँ पे रेटिंग खुद देते हैं ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म्स। बस इनके लिए एक कोड ऑफ एथिक्स डेवलप कर दिया गया, गाइडलाइंस दे दी गई। इस हारों को मेंटेन करना हमारे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल है। साइबर थ्रेट टू मोबाइल बैंकिंग। सो देयर आर वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ साइबर अटैक्स। अब इसमें डिफरेंट टाइप्स पता होने चाहिए इनका मतलब क्या है। So for example, there's a malware, there's a short malicious software, which basically is designed to cause damage to a single computer, server, or computer network. And similar to malware, इनकी examples हैं ransomware, spyware, worms, viruses, trojans, ये सब malware की variety. Then there is phishing. So here we're trying to gather personal information using deceptive emails or websites. Denial of service attack. So this is basically meant to shut down a machine or a network. जब तक आप पैसे नहीं दोगे तब तक खुलेगा नहीं, ठीक है? Then man in the middle attack. So this is for eavesdropping attack, which occurs when the attackers insert themselves into a two-party transaction. So this can steal data, this can filter information, or maybe disrupt your traffic. Social engineering. So attack that relies on human interaction to trick users into breaking security procedures, gain some sensitive information from them. That's social engineering. Otherwise, it was not that a bad word, but it has been used like this. Okay. Now बाकी का काम इसका जो है वो प्रीलिम्स के लिए नहीं है, मेंस के लिए है। Okay. एंटी रेडिएशन पिल्स। तो यूक्रेन रशिया का इशू जब से चल रहा है और न्यूक्लियर अटैक की बात होनी शुरू हुई, तब से ये एंटी रेडिएशन पिल्स भी न्यूक्लियर। So there is a preemptive supply of 5.5 million anti-radiation pills. Why? Because Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant came under attack several times during the invasion of Russia, okay, invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And what are these anti-radiation pills? They are basically potassium iodide tablets. ये prelims में याद रखना है. And they provide some protection in case of radiation exposure. They contain non-radioactive iodine, which can help block the absorption and subsequent concentration of radioactive iodine in the thyroid gland. तो बहुत ही कम प्रोटेक्शन देता है, बट चलो लोगों को लगता है कि हाँ शायद कुछ होता है इससे। Fine. So what happens is radioactive iodine floats through the air and then contaminates food, water, and soil. Internal exposure or radiation occurs when radioactive iodine enters the body and accumulates in the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, which uses the iodine to produce hormones, has no way of telling whether it is radioactive or not. So what happens? Potassium iodide relies upon achieving thyroid blocking. So once they are taken before or soon after radiation exposure, ensure that radioactive iodine in the medicine is absorbed quickly. Non-radioactive iodine in the medicine, that is potassium iodide, is absorbed quickly to make the thyroid full. तो ताकि जो बाहर से और आयोडीन आएगी उसको अब्जॉर्ब ही ना करे। तो लेकिन इसको रिप्लेनिश करते रहना पड़ेगा, हर 24 घंटे बाद आपको सफिशिएंट पोटेशियम हाइड्रेट लेना पड़ेगा। सो what it can do, it can only prevent but cannot reverse the damage done by radiation to the thyroid gland अगर already कुछ हो गया तो। Anti-radiation pills do not provide 100% protection at all. Okay, it depends on how much radioactive iodine gets into the body, and it also depends on the age of the person. So they are not meant for everybody, and only people who are under 40 years of age can take these kind of pills. So this is it for September to November section of your current affairs for science and technology in 2022. ये आपके प्रीलिम्स 2023 के लिए यूजफुल रहेंगे। तो मैंने जैसे आपको पहले बताया था कि क्रोनोलॉजी में चलना है, पहले दिसंबर टू मार्च वाले ध्यान से पढ़ने हैं, फिर दूसरे नंबर पे ये सेकंड प्रायोरिटी है, फिर इससे पहले वाले जो सारे हैं उनका एक क्लब डॉक्यूमेंट आपको कल की क्लास के लिए मिल जाएगा, तो उसमें हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे। तो वो थर्ड प्रायोरिटी पे रखना, ठीक है। ज्यादातर यूपीएससी में जो क्वेश्चन इसके साथ रिलेटेड आएंगे वो प्रायोरिटी बेसिस आपको नए वाले क्वेश्चन पूछने की कोशिश करेंगे। तो दैट्स दैट फॉर टुडे। थैंक यू सो मच, टेक केयर, and we'll continue with science and tech current affairs in our next class tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you.